Let me start. Simisho.
Yes, Doctor, how are you?
I'm very well, and you?
I'm good.
Yes, let me start the lecture so that we can have an understanding of what we need to do.
Okay.
So this is for the sake of Fakami, I'm going to show him what we are doing. Fakami, can you see? We are doing grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. Okay? And grade 10, you do MS Excel, lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and their assessments, the work that the students will do. Then you go to grade 11, you do lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, all the things that you need to teach for that grade 11. And I've given you the topic. And then you go to grade 12, which I did last week. You do lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and everything that you need to do for that lesson. So today I'm doing grade 10. Are we together? Fakami?
Yes.
Yes. Today I'm doing grade 10, MS Excel. I'm going to use a sample of a student work. This student did three lesson plan and shared with me via Google Drive. So the first lesson the student did was formulas and function. I had given them the template to do. Then the student did more on functions. And then the student did graphs. So those are 3 lesson plans that the student did, and the student assessed the learners. I just want us to have a look at what the students did and what we can learn from that student so that we can do our own work. So I've opened the first work of the student, which is here, and that's what I want to do. I want to go through the way we did last week, and then we make it better. So here is a grade 10. The students are, these are the resources. Here you do your own. You don't have to copy these students. Come up with your own template or the way you're going to write your headings. And then I like the idea that the student has given me a small summary of how the lesson has been broken down. And I think that's why the student has not given me the breakdown afterwards, because the student has assumed that I have already checked up there and seen that grade introduction will be 10 minutes. The content development will be 30 minutes. And the main activity the students are going to do in the classroom will be 15 minutes, and the student will make a conclusion within the next 10 minutes. So these are the learning objectives. Last week when I was going through this sample, the students, they told me they would like to do their own, and I said that is very good. I don't mind us doing our own, which I even prefer. We talked about, last week we talked about SMART objectives. If you need to listen to the video about what I talked about as SMART objectives, that's what we did last week. So I'm not going to repeat that. So we are looking at knowledge. So by the end of this lesson, the learner will be able to develop an in-depth, maybe it is an in-depth or just a basic knowledge. It depends on the teacher. Maybe it's an in-depth or it's a basic knowledge. You decide depending on what you are planning, whether you're introducing or not. Okay? Remember to ask me questions as I'm going. So the students here, I prefer, so here the students have given me 3. I always prefer 3 to 4. So the student will be able to know the difference between formulas and functions. This is a head thing. What is the sum? What the sum function does? Okay, what is the function of the sum function? How to make calculation. This is a knowledge. This is a head thing now here. Just we did this last week, and then the student now will come here and now do this is the knowledge. Then the students will come and do the skills. The students will be able to gain the following skills. So the learner will be able to use the sum function. So this is the student actually doing. So this is where the theory of Dewey comes in. Dewey, learning by doing. Remember I said that all these things they tie up together. We are starting with the end in mind and we are moving with the end in view. That's what I talked about last week. We are starting with the end in mind and we are going to work through with the end in view, meaning that everything will be tied together. Nothing is going to be floating. This thing must be intertwined. We are weaving, we are weavers, we are planning, and for our plan to work, everything must be cohesive. Cohesive meaning, last week when I was talking about going to Johannesburg, I cannot just say I'm going to Johannesburg. I say I'm going to Johannesburg, and then I start looking at the details. So going to Johannesburg is just the main idea. To do what? Why am I going to Johannesburg? Where in particular? When? So I'm going to answer how. I'm going to answer all those questions and then I thread them together. So what am I doing? Right now I'm looking at the lesson objectives. The lesson objectives, they must be grounded on a theory. That's why you see me now talking about the learning by doing, because everything is tied together. Knowledge, now learning by doing, they will learn to understand the sum function to do it. They will actually use the max function, they will use the average function and minimum function and make calculation using data that they will be provided in the lesson. So those are the skills that the learners are going to gain by the end of this lesson. Then what is the value? What is the importance of doing this work? What is the relevance? Apart from just gaining skills, what is going to happen to the learners? The learners are going to change in their personality. The learners are going to change in their mental attitude. The learners are going to understand something that they never knew before. They are going to appreciate. So the learners will be able to develop attitudes and values conducive to promoting the use of different functions on MS Excel. They'll be able to calculate different figures on spreadsheet using their own daily lifestyle. So they'll be able to be application of theory, of skills, of knowledge in their daily lives. Somebody you might be saying, I'm just teaching Excel, and if another student says, this is what I needed to be able to budget. I was unable to budget my own money. I was unable to understand comparison. When I go to buy a product, I did not understand that I can use an MS Excel to compare that this is the same product, but they're costing different prices because of A, B, C, D. MS Excel can be used for so many reasons and so many things that you can apply in your daily life. So when we are teaching, let us teach the learners to be able to appreciate for what? How can this, apart from being good academically for the exam, because that is one of the reasons why they are doing this, how else can this one help me in making my life better, in developing the highest and best function of who I am? So that is where the values and attitudes come in. And this is a very important component which most teachers will ignore. Because it's so obvious. Why should the students be able to gain values and knowledge? You go to the classroom and yours is, mine is just to teach you and to gain content. But imagine if you went there with the idea that you are going to change the learner's perception, the learner's knowledge of how to utilize their money, how to utilize their time, because even you can even organize your time using an MS Excel. You can even organize your food using an MS Excel document. you might have a student who is obese, who is suffering from obesity, because they do not know that they're supposed to be eating a balanced diet, and then they learn from that MS Excel to be recording the kind of food they are eating per day, and water, and and exercise program to arrange your time. Look at how many people they wake up in the morning. They don't know, they have no plan, because they've never had somebody like you, because you are the mentor, telling them, do you know you can organize your time? They're like, you mean I can organize my time? Yes, you are responsible for your day. So take an MS Excel document and organize how you are going to spend that day. Those are the kind of values and attitudes that the students are going to learn from this module, from this lesson of today, so that they can even now be able to do well in their exam, in their daily lives, in spending their day, their money, and most importantly, time. Because that is that's why, that is the end in mind, that is the objective. So you cannot tell me that you are not able to write down values and attitudes that your learners are going to learn by the end of a specific lesson. If you are really going to go with the heart and the mind that you want the learners to see, that whenever you go to the classroom for 60 minutes, you always leave them as changed people. You will always have a value and an attitude. And how are you going to do that? By tying the knowledge, the skills to the values and attitudes. So I can move on. Are we okay there? So you'll be able to develop your own and add to that. Then from there, last week we looked at I want to put the mouse here. Let me put it here. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to write down the focus question. Somebody give us a focus question for this lesson. I'm waiting for you. Timisho, what is going to be the focus question for this lesson? In fact, the student here is supposed to be more specific. Introduction to formulas. The student is introducing the students how to use the automatic formulas that are created using MS Excel. Because remember, you can also do your own formulas. Introduction to formulas. So what will be the focus question? Give me the focus question. Fakami.
Yeah.
What is the focus question for this day? Developer any, will use them.
Functions and calculations of Microsoft Excel.
Functions. Functions and calculations. Using MS Excel, isn't it? Yes. Or maybe you can even say introduction to functions. Why am I calling it introduction rather than just functions and calculations? Maybe I can even remove calculations for now. I just say introduction to functions using MS Excel. Why am I using the word introduction? Timisho.
Yes, doctor.
Why am I using the word introduction?
Why you are using the word introduction?
Yes, in my focus question. Instead of just functions using MS Excel. Yes, Sandisiwe. How are you, Sandisiwe?
Well, morning everyone. I'm sorry I'm late.
Yeah.
I think, Doctor, it would be because it's grade 10 class. Perhaps they would be starting with Microsoft Excel or yes.
Yes. So it is a basic, isn't it?
Yes, the basic.
So I do not want to call it functions because it's going to be just too broad, isn't it? But when I call it introduction, I am now going to select maybe 4, you know, and this is my own extra writing, 4 basic functions that I'm going to introduce. You remember what I'm writing here is just my own word, where you write on your own using a comment to help you. Okay, so this is not part of the lesson plan. So the focus question is introduction to using MS Excel, and then we can turn it into a question. Maybe we can call it, what are the basic, to make it into a real focus question, maybe we can say, what are the basics? What are the 4 basic functions? What are the 4 basic functions in MS Excel computations or calculations? What are just the 4 basic functions? So that as the teacher now, I'm going to start with the end in mind and with the end in view, so that I do not get confused. I already know I'm only doing 4 basic functions. So every time the students ask me, can we use Excel for A, B, C, D? I tell them, of course, Excel can be used even for so many other things, but today I'm only going to teach you, how to do sum, maximum, average, and minimum. And then from there, we'll be able to take it from there later on. But as today, we are only going to do 4 basic functions, because once you develop the foundation, any other, you'll be able to do much easier. Because you'll tell them that there will be more like if functions and so forth, which are more complex, but having understood how the 4 basic functions will operate, then the rest will be much easier. Okay, then we go ahead. Now I can go to the teaching strategy. I hope I'm recording, because I said I'm recording, so that for the sake of those who are not here, yes. Now we have developed our focus question together. This is a good thing with this Zoom meeting. We are together. Now let's go to the teaching strategy. Teaching strategy, I'm still going to go to the same thing that I did last week. I talked about here teaching philosophy. Teaching philosophy. That's what is going to guide me here, my teaching philosophy. And that is where the theory comes in. And that's where I just said broadly, we are going to look at behaviorism versus constructivism. So that's how you'll develop your teaching strategy. How is our behaviorism not working? Behavior. Is it like that? Yes, behaviorism. Behaviorism meaning instructivism. All you need is, once you develop that, you'll be able to explain your teaching strategy, so that you'll be able now to say, my lesson generally will encompass a variety of, a combination of both behaviorism, and my lesson will encompass both a mix of behaviorism and instructivism. And this is determined by the learner's abilities, by the teaching resources that are available, and then and even the time element, among many others. Then you develop your own story. So that, as you can see here, the students have decided to discuss about using a discussion and explanation strategy. The student has said he's going to discuss, explain, demonstrate. You see? But I would have wanted, first of all, the student, before doing this, to give us a situational analysis. Because the situational analysis is like a diagnosis. Here is a diagnosis. The teacher is diagnosing. What is a situational analysis? Tell me what I can write here. What is a situational analysis? A situational analysis is a picture of the situation in the school, either in the school or in that classroom, whereby you're going to discuss the number of students that are there, because that will affect your teaching. I've gone to Nzuma High School. The students are 60. Even when I'm doing teaching practice, I sit outside. There is no a seat for me. Imagine, is a teacher who has 60 pupils going to be able to teach MS Excel as the other school I went in, Glenwood High School, whereby the students are 18. What is the difference between this Glenwood High School and Nzuma High School? Who can tell me? What is the difference? Who can explain to me what would be the, how would that one affect your teaching strategy? Any person? Let's participate. No more.
Doctor?
Yes, no more. Yes, no more.
Hi, everyone.
Yes,
I'm
yes, no
here,
more.
Doctor.
Yes, yes.
So if you have many students, like I think it's Zoom, I think the school that you're talking about, the school
Yes.
that has 60 learners in one class.
Mm.
So that will affect your teaching strategy, or rather the way you're going to teach, because there'll be more learners and you won't be able to attend each and every learner the way you want to.
Yes.
Unlike in Glenwood it's much more easier to actually go to each and every learner and try to understand whether they are with you or they are left behind.
Yes.
So it's much more easier and more effective if you have less learners.
Good, good. So, what kind of strategy do you think you will apply in Zoom? Which will be which one will you be forced by circumstances to select between these two? Yes, no more there? Between behaviorism, instructivism, and constructivism, which one do you think this teacher will use mostly?
I am not sure.
Because constructivism involves learners. Constructivism is more engaging. Constructivism is more student-centered. Constructivism is more the learners collaborating. So even forming groups sometimes becomes a problem, and they don't even have enough computers. So the teacher might be forced mostly to do instructivism. Can you say that? So the teacher here will say, I will apply mostly teacher-centered approach. And there's nothing wrong with that. I will apply a teacher-centered approach whereby I will use if they have a projector or the blackboard to explain to them. Even they don't even have computers, so my computer might be the one that I will use to demonstrate how to do the functions. Circumstances. Whereas in this other one, the teacher might just introduce the basic things and then the learners take over. Learner-centered. Whereby the learners, they are taking more responsibility of actually engaging with their own computers and learning the 4 basic functions. You see the difference? So it's up to you now to give me a situational analysis. Once you give me the situational analysis, then you say, based on this situational analysis, then my teaching strategy will be as follows. You see? So you start with the situational analysis, and then the situational analysis will affect the teaching strategy. Yes, that's how we are starting with the end in mind. And we are not doing it so that we are not going to teach the learners. We are doing it because of resources, circumstances that are beyond our control, So then we say, how well can we use the situation that we have of so many learners, very few computers, very few resources, learners maybe do not have a basic knowledge. It's not discrimination, but you might be so surprised to find that the students in Glenwood High School, they have been engaging with the computers in their homes. So when you ask them about that, they tell you, I've always been calculating these things for my parents. My father is an accountant. You see what I mean? So it becomes much easier for them to grasp. But somebody else, they have never had an opportunity. No opportunity. That's where now we are trying to use digital. No opportunity to have experimented with the computer. And that's where now we are even trying to say, is digital, are we experiencing more digital divide? Or are we experiencing the bridge? Is this corona not exposing the problems that South Africa already is trying to bury? The problems that some people they have, others don't, and they are expecting everybody to have a computer. And that is not a realistic goal. Not every student who is coming to the university has a computer. So these are the situational analysis that we are facing, even me. Students are not able to come to Zoom because they don't have even data. So what are you going to do? You're going to say, I will record this video for the sake of the 3 students who do not have data. I will record this video because some students, they are living in some areas, even if they are given the data by the university, they don't even have a computer. Others, they have their own problems that they are dealing with. I'm hearing it's not only the lecturers who are facing the corona issue. The learners are here. The learners are so stressed. Those are kind of the things that I'm hearing. The stress of reading about the corona every day is overwhelming people. So those are the situational analysis that you bring as a teacher, and then you ask yourself, how best can I accommodate the learners and teach them in a way that they are both going to learn? So behaviorism is more teacher-centered, more instruction, more work that the teacher is doing, whereas the other one is more learner-centered. There's more engagement. There's more collaboration. You can help them to collaborative learning, whereby you can do pairing of learners, as I saw in teaching practices. The learners, the school has a printer, which makes sure that you have worksheet ready for them. You see, some places even to print, you have to go to the principal to get permission to print. You have to go to the principal's office to print. Those are the things that I'm talking about. So you cannot tell me that you have nothing to write here. There's so much you can write. And once you write one here, you can copy and paste times 3. You can copy and paste times 3. You can copy and paste times 3. So you don't have to do it in the 3 lesson plan. Because the lesson plan for grade 10 will be one and the same one. So you can copy this, and then you can even copy this and then make small changes on the other lesson plan, or even use it and just write, because they are the same and they're the same. Now from there, we are in a good position to go to the introduction. The introduction is 10 minutes, as the learner, the teacher indicated, or even 15 minutes, and then the students will start with will spend time on explaining. If it is me, I would have done the way I did the other time with just a small video on YouTube. You know, I copy a very small 3 minutes, like I did last week, a very small video, just to introduce the learners on introduction. It can be very, very helpful for the learners. 3 minutes maximum. And then the aim of it will help you to introduce the aim. The learners will know what exactly are we expected to do by the end of this lesson. Here, the teacher is now asking the learners to remember whether they have learned anything about sum, maximum, minimum. So the learner here is using previous knowledge. And that is what is about. Prior, yes. Anybody want to say something? Yes. Kanyiso? Hello? Is that Kanyiso?
Yes.
Tell us. I'm listening.
We can't see your screen.
Serious? You can see my screen? Since when?
Yes. You keep saying here, here, we only see you.
And now?
Yes, we can see it.
Since when did you see the situational analysis?
No.
My computer was.
Yes, I saw it.
You saw it?
Yes.
It was there. The situational analysis. Can I continue from there? But you
Yes.
had.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is situational analysis one, and then this is 2. Yeah, please tell me when I'm not sharing, because last week I was not sharing, I was talking to myself. Remember, this is called technology. And it's an equalizer. It's not respecter of persons. So this, you decide on which situational analysis you are going to apply. Here is a school where is underprivileged. But the idea that you're going to tell me that the school is underprivileged, it's not an excuse. This is not an excuse to write a poor lesson plan. It is even an excuse to demonstrate. It is an excuse. It is an opportunity to demonstrate your ingenuity. You understand? This is your opportunity to demonstrate your high order thinking skill. Because you are a problem solver as a teacher. You understand? Those are I'm looking for the keywords for you that you can use. You are a problem solver. So you cannot tell me this is the problem, the students are not able to understand. No, you are the one who is going to change the situation. The world is looking for people who are going to solve problems. Then here is situation 2, where the learners are in a school that is more equipped, but that is not an excuse again to say that there is nothing for you to do. This is an opportunity for you now to move learners to a higher dimension. Demonstrate how you can actually enjoy teaching such learners who have the ability to do. Okay, then the teaching strategy, we have talked about behaviorism versus constructivism. I've talked about behaviorism being more teacher-centered because of so many factors. And that does not mean that you cannot use behaviorism in Glenwood. You can use a combination because behaviorism will help us in introducing the lesson. So here is a 10 minutes lesson, but these students are decided to use a 15-minute lesson. Can you see the screen? The screen is visible?
Yes.
Okay. So decide on your story. So here I'm saying, I will email you this. Decide on your narrative. I'll call it a narrative. I'm saying my narrative, I'll start with a small 3 minutes video. That's how I would prefer my narrative to be. And then I will start now using this opportunity to help the learners. This one is using prior knowledge, linking. He's linking, the teacher is linking math to MS Excel, which is a very good idea. So that the students, they can be able to relate. Relationships are very important. Then from there, the students, I can move on to the main lesson. Here, the teacher said he's going to use 30 minutes. I'll break mine into 20 minutes. That's what I would prefer. And then I call it stage 1. stage 1, whereby now the teacher will, the students having watched the video, they have a basic understanding. Now we'll have developed a basic understanding, and now depending on whether the students are going to be behaviorism or instructivism, here the learner have been asked to open a spreadsheet. So it will depend on you. If the students have no computers, now you are the one to demonstrate. But if they have computers, you engage them in the process of doing. Okay. Then we go on. Then the learners, they enter random test marks. That's what the teacher would want them to do, as they will be guided. And this will help the learners to see how they can capture data of their own. And then they'll practice the following. Some, because the teacher will go to the classroom with an MS Excel or with an MS Word document with 20 entries. Then they'll be able to enter. I will show you the entries. Then they will do the average. They will do the count function, minimum, maximum, to do it. Then here, depending on whether you demonstrated, then I can come to stage 2. If I demonstrated, then stage 2, I can now ask them to do it themselves. Then here I can explain it's going to be a DIY, whereby the learners will do it yourselves. The learners now, in this case, they will do it themselves. Okay, so then the learners, they can practice. I'll give them this lesson for just a few minutes to start. And then the learners will work on their above spreadsheet, which have been given them. The learners will use the strides, because the teacher is also going to use the MS PowerPoint, and the learner activity will be given to the learners. And then they will do the following work in the classroom until the lesson is over. Then I will do a conclusion on the last 10 minutes. The lesson will be concluded by recapping all the 4 functions that we did in the classroom, and the learners will be asked questions, Q&A. I will engage myself in a Q&A here. And then I'll give them a homework to go and do. I'm not going to say that it will depend on the learners whether they have computers. Just give them. They will do. The learners are very intelligent. They will find ways and means to do the homework. Here is the homework they have been given to do. And then he has given them, this is a worksheet that the teacher gave them in the classroom to do. Look at how they were able now to do the work. This is the homework. The homework, the teacher has written it twice. This is the homework, and this is the activity that the teacher had already prepared for them to do. And let me show you the activity here. This is the homework. This is the homework. So the students are given this. They are told to calculate how many learners there are, the total, the maximum, average, and what is today's dates, and so such small things. And here is the PowerPoint the teacher prepared. I wanted to go to slideshow. So this is the slideshow that the teacher has prepared for the particular class. A recap of basic linking mathematics to MS Excel. That is the first thing the teacher did. But for me, I will start with a small video And then just showing them, you already did this in mathematics. We are basically applying mathematics into MS Excel. Then you can start giving them some work, either behaviorism or constructivism. So this is just a basic of what the teacher did, but now you decide on whether you want to use behaviorism or constructivism. And then this is the work the teacher has already prepared for them to do. And then they will calculate the total, the average, and they will be able to convert. Yes. So the teacher here will be basically introducing the learners to MS Excel. So that you'll be able now to teach the learners how they can actually learn the basics, that in every calculation, you start with equal sign. And then what do you do? Here we are using the simplest using of functions to calculate the total. What is the maximum? Or this is just an example. This is just a sum. If I wanted to calculate what was the total sum all the students scored, and then I can just write it there. If that's what I wanted to see, what was the total sum of the performance? Or then we can, if you want to do the minimum, you do the same thing. You come to equal sign, and then you look for minimum. Is maximum. You can go for more functions. Is it financial? I want to look for minimum. This minimum. So I can say minimum, and then the minimum between all that. Then I can say, then the minimum. The person who scored the least was 25. So you demonstrate, depending on, demonstration now means you are doing more of instructivism. And then you tell the learners, now do for yourself using another Excel. So the teacher had decided to use this one to demonstrate. And then the learners will use the other MS Excel to do, which makes it very, very practical. So the learners will use this one to do for themselves, but you have used your own just to show them what it means to have to calculate maximum, or this minimum. I did minimum here. So the average, total, and so forth. You demonstrate, and then the learners can do for themselves. Is that clear? Then I can go to another one of the 3 lessons the student did. Any question? Any question? Pakamani, Mlambo.
Doctor,
Yes.
me.
Yes, I can see you're having issues with the network. How is that? Yes.
Yeah, I have issues with the network here.
So what have you learned in that demonstration that I have demonstrated?
Demonstration.
What I have done? How has it helped you?
Each doctor, each
Sandisiwe?
Yes, doctor.
The last 20 or 30 minutes, what I have demonstrated, how has it helped you?
It has helped me. Like when I'm doing my lesson plan, I won't just like write only points. I would have to explain like maybe the teaching strategies I would use and how to put my situation analysis and all those things.
Yes, yes. You see, there's power in talking. When you are talking, you are impressing your subconscious mind. And once you impress your subconscious mind, your conscious mind will accept and it will do. Remember, we are powerful individuals. So when I'm asking you this question, what you have learned, I'm forcing you to press. You are pressing your mind so that that thing becomes imprinted. We are imprinting, and the same thing we are doing with our learners. Kanyiso, what have you learned in what I have demonstrated?
I have a question. Hello.
I'm listening.
Oh, would you say we are copying if we are using the data?
I wonder why Kanyiso is not so clear. I wonder whether the other students can hear you. Today you are not that clear. No Monday. Kanyiso, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, I was connected to the Bluetooth speaker.
Oh, please. Okay, tell us.
Okay, I have a question, in fact.
Yes.
If I use the same layout and change the data, would you say we are copying? Because now you are showing us everything. Maybe.
Okay, let me say this.
Did you get the question?
Asking a very challenging question. What would make you not? What would make you not to be able to develop your own creativity? What would make you not to say, I'll write the same story, but in a different way? Imagine, then why should I not take Harry Potter and I go and sell Harry Potter with my name, Dr. Gashie? What's wrong with that? Harry Potter is the same thing that is in my mind. I don't know, in fact, I was thinking about Harry Potter when the writer was writing. Me, I'm going to sell Harry Potter with my name. Because that's exactly the kind of Star Wars that was in my mind. Why don't I sit down and say, okay, I was thinking of Harry Potter, but somebody has already written Harry Potter. I'm going to change my characters and develop something that has never been seen, and then I'll come with Avatar. Because Avatar and Harry Potter, they are not really different. They are both in another world. But they are very different in the fact that Avatar, he wrote Avatar, Harry Potter has written Harry Potter, Star Wars has written Star Wars, but they are all talking about aliens. Look at that. That is my objective. My objective is to teach you about aliens, but each one of you to go and write their own story of aliens. Does that seem to be much more clearer? Kanyiso?
Yes, but okay.
I want you to go and write your own story of aliens. You adapt mine.
No, I'm not talking about the situation analysis and teaching strategy.
Yes.
I'm talking about the task.
Yes, right. Create your own task. Well, why don't you challenge yourself and say, I'm going to create a better MS Word document. Maybe I'm going to let me give you even more of them. I'm going to tell them to go to SPA online, SPA website, and I look at the things that SPA are selling. SPA is selling soap, SPA is selling detergent, SPA is selling this, and then you use that, and then you change a bit. That's more creative than taking my work. And then another person will go to the marketplace and say, I'm going to show people how they can use my students. They are going to learn how to do MS Excel in a marketplace, because in a marketplace is much more relevant for the students, the kind of students I'm teaching, because their parents, most of them are informal traders. So they'll benefit from my lesson if at all I use things that are relevant to them, like tomatoes, cabbage.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because my learners their parents are from a background of informal traders. Another person will say, my learners, their parents are farmers, so they can relate better with farming than they can relate with informal trading. These are the learners, they are more affluent. They'll be able to relate more with a bookshop. They'll be able to relate more with computer games. That's what I'm saying. Why don't you just come up with your own task and just say, I want to challenge.
No, doctor, I'm not saying if I take your task,
Yes.
what if I've already done a task where I compare student marks and it is 2 rows
I don't mind. I don't mind.
and it is 2 columns like yours?
I don't mind.
So must I change it?
You don't have to change it if that's what you had already done. Yes. You
Oh,
don't have
that's
to
what I
change
was.
it. Yeah. If that's
Oh,
what,
okay.
if that was your work, I don't have a problem with it, because the most important thing is to say that you are actually going to deliver the content. So if that is what you have taken, it's not a problem at all. I have no objection. The most important thing is, how are you going to use that columns to deliver the knowledge? Okay? The way you deliver it will
Okay.
be different. Star Wars, Avatar, Harry Potter, they are all teaching us the same thing. How we can think one day to go to the moon or to go to another planet and meet aliens. Even District 9, we watch District 9, those who have watched that movie. They are all trying to show us to start thinking out of the box, so that if aliens actually do come here, we are not going to be surprised. Do you see what I'm talking about? So you don't have to change, but I just want to see you as creative. You remember you are created by a creator. Me, I'm a religious teacher, and you have to be creative. You are not a copycat of another. Okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, now let me go to another lesson. Then I will ask the other students what they have learned. Let me go here and see. So this time I'll just go very quickly. Function. The teacher did a week on function. Yes, this is the lesson. So the same thing, we do our own thing. We copy here, the way we did. I would prefer that. And then we write our own. Here is the opportunity for us to be creative. Let's be creative and just see. And then write in complete sentences. I prefer complete sentences rather than that. And then, so that the students are knowing, they are not doing. Here is a head thing again. They are knowing. Okay, it's a head thing. Okay, and then skills, values, and then we go to our focus question. Then we go to our teaching strategy. Here we mix again. I'm going to write, because repetition is the mother of all. That's what I've had. Behaviorism, that is instructivism, where you are instructing the learners, versus constructivism. So here, behaviorism is whereby we are teacher-centered. Constructivism is where every learner is engaged in creating meaning. And then this will help us to write our teaching strategy. We say that we are going to write our situational analysis before. The situational analysis will help us to develop our teaching strategy. Okay, here we have a grade 10 class, 25 learners who are not familiar with the subject. They are not familiar, they don't have that background, they are not able to afford computers. But the school has 25 computers that caters for learners. So it's an opportunity for the learners to engage in something that they have not engaged before. So rather than seeing the idea that they don't have the background, this one becomes an opportunity rather than a problem for you to develop a teachable moment. Then the students is using discussion, demonstration, explanation. Explain here. Here is where I want to see your narrative. Your narrative, and I want to see the use of a variety of digital media. Digital media. Digital media implying text, video, animation, that's what they call it, graphics, Graphics is images. Remember, I can remember an image more than I can remember your words. So the more images you show me, the more I will imprint. Because remember, our mind is like a photocopying machine. We are imprinting. Okay? So the more digital media you use, the better your lesson will be. So use that to write your nice narrative. Because we are not saying the narrative is better, but I'm just using it to show you how you can write your own better narrative. Better narrative. Okay, then here is a focus question. How can we, I don't want the idea of we, because I really do not know who are we and you. I tell, avoid you and we. Just write the question. How can maybe learners, these are the audience, use different functions to make I would prefer if the focus question can be guided by the skills. The learners will be able to apply their skills in doing today, now, run, all this. Now they are moving it to a higher level of using the functions. So how can learners use different functions? Maybe to compute. Maybe I can say to compute. This is just my own, a variety of computations, or come up with your own, something much more tangible. How they can be able to apply various functions, or how can they be able to apply advanced application of advanced functions and formulas. Then you create that one into a question, because that is the objective. The objective is application of advanced functions and formulas. I hope this is the topic there. This cannot be basic function anymore, because already the teacher taught formulas and functions. So a little bit, maybe I can say intermediary. If you don't want to go to base to advanced, you can go to intermediary functions, maybe. Okay, so how can the learners be able to apply, to move, move from advanced, moving from basic to intermediary functions and formulas. Then find out how you can make this one into a question, so that it becomes a question mark. Then we can go now to the introduction. We give it time. Then here is where you'll be using your digital media and your teaching strategy, which is very important. So here, you are going to tell me about the teaching strategy, because that's why I told you, you do not apply notes. We are avoiding notes. That's why you are seeing me writing these things. I'm interested in the digital media, text. Text is like worksheets, video, graphics for teaching. That's what we want to see. How are you going to introduce your lesson using a variety of digital medias, rather than just copying notes? So the learner will use Q&A. That's what I can see here. That's what the students have decided. And then you can explain how and why. And why is the purpose of Q&A in a small way. And then the lesson will proceed by, instead of telling, maybe, maybe you can instruct or guide or direct. Because remember, your work is to help the learners by scaffolding them. So rather than telling, you are instructing, guiding, directing. That is your role as a teacher, to be able to do it for themselves. And then they will be able to, this is what will be introduced basically. That's why I was talking about using a video can be a very good way to look at this one, because there are so many digital technologies today. And then you can go now to stage 1 and give it time. Then you explain. Again, this is the same thing. Here I'm interested in teaching strategy and digital media. And when I'm talking about teaching strategy involves what the learners and the teacher will do. But I do not want you to write it in terms of the way they do in some lesson plans where they say TA, this is how you, TA, then they write LA. I don't want that. I want a narrative, because I don't want to read Star Wars or Avatar in terms of TA and LA, you know. They tell me, these, I don't know those characters in Avatar, but I watched that movie. They tell me TALA, TALA. Oh my God, you know, the movie will be so boring. But as I watch Avatar, I see the story flowing. That's what I want us to do. We are our own now creators of Avatar, whereby we are not going to say TALA. We are going to be narrative. We are storytellers. Remember, we are developing, you have to be also selfish. When you're doing this work, you are developing yourself. You're not just developing the learners. You're developing your own abilities to tell the story of your life. So let us do in terms of integrating the learners and the teacher in our story. In the story. I'm going to say, in the story, so that it becomes a very beautiful paragraph. And then this is what the teacher will do in that story. And then I don't know why the teacher has not given us part 2. Maybe the teacher should give us a stage 2 here of 20 minutes, where now the learners are actually doing the work. Yes, so that they'll open their computers and now learn by doing what is proposed by Dewey. They learn by doing. Then why? They explain. The learners, they open their data file, which will contain that, and then they will do the practical activity. There's the practical activity. Yes. The conclusion and the homework. Let me show you now the learner. This is the data file that the teacher had prepared. The students, they will do this. Okay, so that I can be able to calculate female participants, male participants, who are the grade 12 learners, who are the grade 11 learners, who have scored above 7,000. You see, so this is more advanced from average, minimum, maximum. Then the learners will also do more functions, whereby they can be able to calculate which is the mode, which is the medium, which is the one which is at the center. Mode, I don't know, there's a mode is the most current, most occurring. Who is the learner who got a distinction? How many are boys and how many are girls? You see, this is really advanced. More functions with a memo. The students have given he has given the memo here. Count if is a boy. Then count if is a female. Count the learner who got above 80. Count the mode and count the medium. Then we have another one here. Let me finish this one, then I can ask questions. You see, I know it might be a lot of work, but remember, it depends on the school, and you can give them to go and do it for themselves. I'll explain it better. Let me just finish here quickly. We do away with this particular task, then we can talk about it. There's the slide. Oh, you can't see. Am I sharing?
Asbo,
Sorry.
we can't. Yes, we can't see.
Yeah. Oh. I've been talking to myself. Okay, let me do this one, then I'll show you.
Hey, my God.
Yes. Much apologies. So this is the. Okay, let me go and show you what I was just talking about. I'll share with you this. So the teacher asked them to do a computer game. So they did the highest, grade 12. You can see that? Then they were asked to do another data file of mode, medium, and then they were asked to do another one. This is the memo. Yes, they asked them to count if is a male. Now you can see. Sandy, see where?
Yes, doctor.
You can see? I'm sharing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you're sharing.
How many is a female? Yes. Count if the learner got above 80%. The teacher has given them an advanced task. So these are the tasks, the data file that the teacher prepared. And then this was the week 6 of the lesson plan. So it means that this teacher has prepared in such a way that the other task was a particular week, and then the other one is another week, depending on what the students have been doing, maybe the other previous 3 weeks, meaning that the students now are in a better position to be able to do what the teacher is teaching. And now, last but not least, the teacher has taught on graphs. Introduction to graphs, the same thing we are going to do. We create our knowledge, skills, and values. We come up with our teaching strategy. We come up with our focus question. We come up with our situational analysis. And then we introduce using our time concept, the introduction of various things the teacher will do. Lesson development, we give it time. Different types of charts that the students will learn. And then an activity for the students to do. So let us do a small Q&A. You tell me whether, so far, what you have achieved in this lesson that we have had today. I can start with the estimation. Shangaze. Or anybody else who wants to start. What have you learned? Or what would you have wanted to learn, or anything? Just share with us. Talking is power. I'm giving you power. I'm making you powerful people by engaging you. Somebody talk to me. Everybody will talk. It just depends on whoever wants to start, but everybody will talk before you go. Pakamani, Mlambo, talk, say something.
This seems to be a lot of stuff to do.
Okay. Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, tell me why. I'm listening, because it's by engaging that we can be able to solve.
Okay, I think what I've achieved here is that each and every lesson you should give like a set of guide of how you go about it. For example, grade 11, you're gonna create a lesson plan, and then the activities, the solutions, and all that. That's what I've learned now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
But it seems like a lot of work to do.
Yes, I know mine is only to challenge you. Mine is only to challenge you. You know, I always challenge myself. And I'm not saying that I want to challenge you. Only me, I'm challenging myself. I always ask myself, if somebody can do it, that has become the kind of thing that I'm adopting nowadays. I ask myself, if somebody can do it, and they have 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 2 hands like me, that's what I keep on asking myself. Why can't I come up with my own? That's what I ask I don't know whether you are like that, but that's how I've been asking myself nowadays. I'm keeping on asking yesterday, last night, I have to tell you, me, I watch movies. Yesterday, I was watching movies of Lennox, the one who beat, he ended up beating Michael Tyson. Lennox, he beat Michael Tyson.
Are we, ma'am,
Let me tell you.
are we expected to choose?
Here is somebody who was born with a disadvantage and yet ends up beating Michael Tyson. Why? If Lennox can do it, why can't I do it? In my own ability. Remember, we are not all Lennoxes. I'm not a boxer, but I can box in another arena of my life. So if this is a student who did this assignment and I didn't use a gun on the student, and I never gave the student even a sample, I told them, I want you to do MS Excel, MS Spreadsheet. They did all that. I will open for you the work the student did. I never gave them a template like I'm doing with you. And the students did it. If that student can do it without even being given by Dr. Kashi a template, and here I'm being given a template, why can't I not surpass that student? Is the question I would ask myself. Sandisiwe, I can see your hand raised. Mlambo, I want you to do at your level. Okay.
Yeah.
What I was showing you right now is the level that student did. If you have been given one talent, the master, he gave one person one talent because he had checked that person and knew that person was only capable of using one talent. Then he gave the other one 4 talents because he knew from previous history, this one can work on 4 talents. Then he gave the other one 5 talents. Me, I'm giving you to work on your talent, okay? If you can give me a good one, if you multiply your 1 talent and give me 2, I'm good with that. Sandisiwe, I've given her 4 talents, she give me 8, I'm cool with that. Sandisiwe, I saw you had raised up your hand. Tell us, give us your, we have to reason together.
Yes, I wanted to like agree with Pagaman. It's a lot of work, but then from it I've learned that when I'm doing my lesson plan, I have to do it in a very detailed way, in a way that maybe if, for example, if I go to practice, like I'm going to school maybe next year to be a teacher, not a student teacher, maybe I'm not present, anyone else can be able to use the lesson plan that I compiled. I think that's the whole idea. For our lesson plans to be as detailed as possible.
And you know, the thing is, some of the things I've told you, teaching strategy, situational analysis, focus question, you can copy and paste and change them. Most of these things you can copy and paste. Even once you create one, you can copy and paste and change them. They are not any different. Kanyiso, I want to hear from you. Kanyiso?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, we want to hear your feedback. We are constructing. We are reasoning together so that I can understand where you are coming from.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so for the first lesson, we are introducing functions, basic functions. And the second one, we are going for more advanced functions. And what about the third one? Is it compulsory to follow that pattern?
No. I'm going to say this, and that's why I'm asking the other students to listen to the videos. I want you to create 3 lesson plans using MS Excel. I'm going to say this, create 3 lesson plans using MS Excel the way you feel that you teach. Anything, provided it's something that makes good sense. Okay, so develop any 3 lesson plans on MS Excel that makes sense. Okay, so take your book on MS Excel or online or anything, create 3 lesson plans on MS Excel. Any topic that you feel is applicable, but please.
Or any grade.
No. We are doing grade 10.
Only grade 10.
Yes, let us be organized because I've already given you the template.
Okay.
Yes, let's be organized. Grade 10, we teach them MS Excel, but teach whatever you feel you want to teach. Okay?
Okay. And what about grade 11 and grade 12?
The same thing I gave you. Yes, I gave you here, the templates. Let me open them here. I I talked about this last week. I said that here, grade 10, we are doing MS Excel. Select whatever you want to teach, but provided you give me quality and quantity. You know, then go to grade 11. Grade 11, we are teaching introduction to internet technologies. Internet technologies, you can even do something on communication. You can do something on viruses, you know viruses. We can do hacking. There are so many things to do on internet technologies. Okay, so let this one be your main heading, and then select whatever you want to select there, and then teach 3 lessons. Okay, there's netiquette. We call it netiquette. Is it written like this? Yes. Teach me that. Then let's go to grade 12. Grade 12, we are teaching on the operating system. We are teaching system software and computer management. So here you can do operating system, and then you can go to lesson 2 and do operating system utilities. That's what this one has done. And then you can go to grade 3 and do security tools. Or you can even decide here, I'm going to do processor. It's okay. You know, it's part of the, let me say mostly, I can even do RAM. You know, I don't mind even if you do something RAM. RAM has to do with system software, because it is going to affect how the computer works. Even processor, they are both part of what we can do. You can do a whole lesson on the processor. You can do a whole lesson on RAM. What I'm doing is that I'm giving you the topics for you to adhere to. But when you go there, you select what you want to teach. So is that one making is that much easier, much better?
It's clear.
Yes. Mlambo, is that much?
Yeah. Now I understand.
Yes, you are not doing what the other student did, but you are doing the same topic. So I don't want you teaching me another topic that has nothing to do with what we did. Excel, grade 10. Internet technologies, grade 11. System software, grade 12.
Okay.
No more. I want to hear from you.
What do you want to hear from me, Doctor?
In terms of, is everything okay? Do you have an idea of what we are going to do?
Everything is clear, Doctor.
Okay, Simisha?
Yes, doctor.
Is that okay now? Are you in a
Yes, everything is okay now.
Yeah,
it's clear.
Fakama is asking about the due date. We talked about that one last time, and we say that we are going to submit
Doctor.
What we agreed on. Is it okay? Here.
Dr. Kashi.
Yes.
If I may ask, we are having a theory test and a practical test on for 20, or it's going to be only theory?
It's going to be theory and practical.
Okay.
We are going to design a website on, we are going to do exactly what we are doing on an assignment.
Okay.
Yes, because remember, IS 420 is also the number of credits, and is also this exam, these things are externally moderated.
Yes.
Students, what did we talk about the due date? What would you prefer? Did we say we move it a little bit further?
Yes, Doctor, you said
It
the
can be.
11th of December.
We said we make it
On
The
11th
of December.
Yeah, because this is too close. Let me come and change it here.
Too close.
Yes, I can see.
30.
11th of December. 11th of December. Please do well. You can even email me your progress. You can email me your progress. You can email me your progress and tell me, is this what you want me to do? I want you to be the best and highest expression of yourself. I want you to be able to say, yes.
When does the academic year end?
You know, I have to tell you honestly, I mean, that's my own problem. I'm feeling now very tired. I cannot imagine that the university is sending us to teach. Look at here. I've seen this email and it's making me, you know, look, this is what they want us to do a catch up. And me, I do not want us to do any catch up. I want you to pass. You know, catch up before that the person who is not going to do well. I don't want that to be you. Why don't we just finish and we don't do catch up? I don't want that. And you? Do you? Who wants to be working during the holidays? That's why I'm doing this Zoom.
No one did.
We avoid this. Imagine on 24th of December when I'm on my computer, you know, that's not what I want. That's why we are here doing the Zoom meeting. And now the students, they don't attend the Zoom meeting. And then what will they do? They will end up making me to teach on the 21st of December. But now because we have attended and you have listened to the video, I have told you, do 9 lesson plans. Grade 10, 3, grade 11, 3, grade 12, 3. Grade 10, do anything on MS Excel that you find you are comfortable with. And let's say this, we're not going to do comfortable things. We are going to do good things for the learners. Because this is an exit module, you must be a good teacher. You cannot say, I'm not a good teacher. I don't know how to do formulas. You are a good teacher. You are a good teacher in internet technologies because internet technology is the 21st century. If you cannot understand internet technologies, what are you doing in this digital era as a teacher?
Yes.
Computer system. That is where we are moving. Android is taking over. We are taking over with our phones on operating systems. So you must be very good on technologies of computers and processors and RAM. We have seen how cloud computing has changed everything. So you are a good teacher. I want you to start by saying, I am a good teacher. I'm an excellent individual. I can teach. I am capable and I'm equipped and I am able. And I'm going to demonstrate to not only to Dr. Gashie, but I'm going to demonstrate to myself that I have done 4 years of teaching. That is my request for you. Is that all? Can we end the Zoom meeting or do you have any question?
Yeah, we're done now.
Okay. If you have any question, don't hesitate to send me an email, okay? Thank you.
Please don't forget to share the link for this recording.
Yes. And I'm afraid of sharing this MS Excel work because people will start copying and pasting and as well. Kanyiso is telling me he's afraid of it already. I will not share it. Is that okay? I am just joking, Kanyiso. Okay?
No. Okay.
But you want me to share?
No.
Yes.
Please.
What I've done is enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, the other students, they will use a video to listen to what we have done. Okay? But I'll share the MS Excel. I'll share the PowerPoint, the lesson plan. Okay?
Yes.
Yes, this video.
And the PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint presentation.
This video. Okay, bye. Have a lovely.
Sorry.
Yes.
You'll share a lesson plan and the PowerPoint.
No, I will not share the PowerPoint. I don't the use of even the PowerPoint. Do you want me to share? What do you want?
PowerPoint.
Oh, on PowerPoint, you don't share what you're going to do as a teacher. You just share the content.
I'm saying, do you want me to share with you these things that I've taught today, or do you want? That's what I'm asking.
I know you can only share the video.
That's what I'm saying. I will only share
the video and the lesson plan.
And the lesson plan.
Yes.
Okay.
But I have a question on PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
You don't write the steps that you're going to follow. You just put the content there.
Put the content. You know why? In the other, when we were doing face-to-face teaching, I was asking the students to mix the two. But now they are not mixing the two because we are not presenting to the class. Before we were mixing the two. Now we are not. Okay? So just put the content. Put the content. But when you're putting the content, you put the content in such a way that as even me, when I go through the content, I can understand this is what you're going to do. You can even start with the lesson objectives. And when you're putting the content will be in an orderly manner so that as a teacher, I'm able to understand what exactly are you teaching. So put your content in such a way that let me show you here as an example. This is what this teacher did. If I'm sharing, let me share quickly, then we can call it a day. So here's an example. He did function such a way that it makes sense. Do something like this. Okay? But I will not share these things. Do your own. Let us be the best and highest version of ourselves. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your participation and your time. Thank you for coming. I can see you are clapping for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very much. I've appreciated your participation. Bye. Have a lovely day.
Peace.